seduction, sex, lifestyle. For the true player at heart, Global SLR presents the real kings of pickup. Vince Hollywood Kelvin and Arash motherfucking Deibazar. Be the best and fuck the rest.
Welcome everyone to another killer episode of the Real Kings of Pickup. I'm Vince Hollywood Kelvin, also known as Aphrodite's Prince, and I'm here with my spiritual brother, Arash Deibsar motherfucking Dibazar. So, in a moment, we're going to take your questions for those who are calling live. At this one, you will this week also be able to find prior podcasts on YouTube. There's a special YouTube channel that's been created for the prior podcasts, and you find them on iTunes as well, or Podomatic. Meanwhile, I'm thrilled. This weekend, I'm driving up north to San Jose to go and partake in the event that Arash is doing. It's very, very, very exclusive. So I just cannot wait. And on Sunday, we're going to be doing a free talk in San Francisco, Sunday evening. In the meantime, brother, we just spoke. How are you doing?
I'm doing incredible, Vince. I'm ready to go. I went out last night, and I shut the place fucking down, and shut down 2 places. When I say shut down, we walk in, and it doesn't matter who's in the house. By the end, I can tell you the ratio we had. It was Chico and I, which is my wingman here, and we had us 2 and 9 women on the table with us. So imagine what that looks like. And then we bounced them, and we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We took 5 of them with us from one location to another bar, and so we entered the new bar with 5 women, and by the time we had finished there, we had around 9 again around us. Dwindled down to about 2 or 3, and then I took off, and I got a text from him this morning that he has gone home with one of the very, very beautiful ones. And this morning for my day started with a text from 2 of the girls, which I thought actually maybe I had messed up on. I seduced both of them. They were friends, and each time I was talking to one, the other one would want to leave, and so it got kind of funny, and Tegan would go try to stop them. And then at some point, they both just took off without saying bye to me. So I said to him, hey, can you check on these girls? And sure enough, right when I said that, I got a text from both of them at different times saying how great last night was. And, you know, it was just a blast. And our social circle here is growing that I'm creating. And I'm going to keep growing it. And it's just, I mean, it's a blast having these skills. What's going on with you, brother?
Well, we just wrapped up a boot camp here, 3 days. And it was all returning students. So it's awesome to see the growth, to see them solid. You know, I always check in and I ask how many phone numbers. And it was very pleasant to hear. I was like 10, 9, and so on. And we went at it hardcore. The stuff on the street is just absolutely amazing. And, you know, here's a point for the guys, the students. I think probably half an hour after I explained that part of my strategy, is that I understand, I know that it's already present out there. So you reach a certain level where it's impossible that you don't encounter something. And I said, but it's the same for you guys, you know. The problem is that you stress out a little too much, hoping and looking around, and instead of just knowing that it's on your path, it's coming. And shortly after that, I'm sure you remember them, those 2 little witches, you and I were starting Inner Alchemy, I believe. And we did a little video. I grabbed them right outside of my place. Then they went home to change. They came back. They were in the classroom, and that's when we played the joke on everybody of having them be highly offended by the topic. And then everybody bursted into laughter. So it was one of them and her friend. And I quickly escalated into like 3-way kisses. Funny thing was that every time somebody was filming, they did not understand fully yet the letting it go briefly, giving that illusion that it's over, nothing else is happening, and boom, I turn around and that's when I go for it. So we have really good footage, but we're missing the best parts. Nevertheless, it was awesome, and we got the event with Sean here and you via Skype on Wednesday, so I'm psyched about that as well. Meanwhile, I think, guys, we're ready to take questions. The calls are a little shorter than they used to be. They're about 40 minutes. So I encourage you guys to ask your questions as soon as possible. All right, brother. So, you guys, what questions do you have tonight?
Hey, Vince, this is Cosa Nostra from San Jose. And thank you again for the high-level teachings this weekend. It was a blast. Quick question on a topic that we covered. When your wingman is covering a lot of range, how do you use that to boost yours so that you don't regress?
Okay, tell me just a little bit more. Covering a lot of range, what do you mean? Like,
well, at one point we were discussing that when one person in a pair is demonstrating a lot of range, covering a lot of range, it can cause the other person to regress or become smaller. I guess just the nature
we were
of
talking about, I help the guys, we're talking about this phenomenon that basically it's a form of natural amogging in a way, that all human beings in the presence of someone who appears to have a little bit more of what they want to have, like let's say you're out and you're with a guy and he feels like very talkative and very free, and you don't feel that way, to first and foremost on your side, watch out that you don't regress, because it's an illusion. It's a mind fuck. It's probably because you're thinking, oh, that person is doing this, I cannot, that's not true, or you can do it differently. One great way to utilize is to let the person do that, and you stay relaxed. You don't think you have to match it, but you also know that you can match it and exceed it. And you look for candidates that are at a little bit of a lower frequency, you know, a girl that's a little more shy and so on. And then you use what your buddy is doing as a way to go in. You know, my friend, the guy is hilarious. Yeah, you seem more chill. Okay? I've had plenty of times when I'm like on fire somewhere and some of the students benefit from it. If the key is you don't make any mental assumptions, you just stay open. To open, you got to be more open. Now, here's the thing. With women, you got to know, and that I saw it when I was teaching improvisation classes. You know, my gig about like 15 years ago, I was teaching improvisation classes at Los Angeles City College, Mission College, all the way to Riverside City College. And the majority of students were women. And I would see like rather beautiful women being put on the spot, and me being able to flow more than them. They would regress, and I felt like I had little girls in front of me. So that's when I realized that, make no mistake, that phenomenon is present also with women. So for those who were not exposed to the explanation that the guys got this weekend, number one, know that everybody's prone to it. You're around someone that's a lot more free, appears a lot more free, a lot more social. They're not more. They just maybe worked it more and so on. Could make you feel like you're shrinking. Don't buy into that. It's bullshit. The thing is, stay open. Just relax and don't let your mind tell you, oh my God, he's doing so good and so on. The other thing is, use that to amog. You know, I noticed that guys just like, don't even bother continuing to talk if they can sense you're more free at improvising, and can even almost act as if you're befriending them, but you're more free and you toss a whole bunch of things at them and they go found not found on their side, they dissipate. And then to tame down girls, you know, all the girls that are a little more lively. So that's why one thing you got to make sure is that you can take yourself further than they can go themselves. You know, so if you have 3-4 girls going woohoo and they're dancing, but they're not like fully into it. Any guy that tries to do that less than them or equal, no appeal. The guy that arrives around and is more free than them in doing it, along with other elements, has the appeal, and then that phenomenon begins. They shy away a little bit. Anytime I would dance with a girl and I would be a little shy myself, she would feed on that and dance more sexy. Now I just imagine I'm in a music video, I close my eyes as if there's no one around, and I feel more free, and then I look back at her and she dances a little bit less, because now that makes her self-conscious. So, I don't know if Arash, you want to add something to this? It was a little personalized based on this past weekend. Maybe we can take the next question. What do you think?
So I have something to say on it, because I have a strategy that I use on my surprise people. Sometimes, you know, your wingman is better than you at something. It's happened to me before. And at that moment, it's my turn to sit back and learn. That's all there is to it. You know, if I'm in the street with Vince, I don't try to, you know, outdo him in any shape, way, or form. I think that if I really pushed myself, I would do actually incredible. I know what my skills are, but why would I do that? You know, I admire how good he is. So I don't see a reason to, if you have somebody in your these are your words, you said, who has such a range, right? I understood it after you explained what that meant. But what's one night of maybe missing out on one or two girls, but observing somebody with such a range? You know, that's what I would do. I've been in set with people. I've been with Hypnotica. I've been with Mystery. I've been with Discovery. I've been with Matador. I've been with Vince. And all these, everybody I just named is fucking legend. And in every single one of these cases, there has been times when I've actually just sat down and just watched it like a fucking movie and just admired the shit out of it and just been like, wow, you know, that's what I do. I think it's worth the lesson learned. You're getting free live demonstration of what you want to do. So that's what I do. I don't give a shit about the girl. And so the next time I'll be able to duplicate that, or, you know, at least see something that I want to also be able to learn from. Okay.
Yeah, I do the same whenever we're in a strip club, or whenever you start to gather, you know, one girl and then two more and two more. I do the same. So, brilliant. Next question, gentlemen.
Vince, it's Mitch. I may be outside, so it may be a little hard to hear me, but I'll do my best. Question for the both of you men. I've had several people ask me about pickup, and they asked, who is this Arash and Vince guy that you learned, that you're studying under? You're becoming, you know, it really seems paying off. Do you guys have a video or something that introduces both of you as to who you are that I could send to somebody who knows nothing about the two of you, to allow them to see who is Arash, who is Vince? I saw a video on YouTube I thought would be good, but I figured you both would know better.
I'll let you go first, brother.
That's a great question. I don't have one video, and I think if I could compile one that would give, here's the word again, the range of who I am, that would be fantastic. But no, I don't have anything like that. But there's tons of videos. There's a few Arash Deibsar promo videos, but they're so outdated and they're so weak in my mind. What I would do is I would have a sentence or so. I would say something like this. See, this is what we call an accomplishment intro in game. How do you introduce your friends? So if someone says to me, let's say, because I have had this question, who's your friend with the pink mohawk? I see you do podcasts with him and this and that. I say he was something like this, you know, like this paraphrase. I say something like, he's my spiritual brother. He's extremely successful. He's one of the top social scientists on the planet. In fact, Lisa Ling, you know who Lisa Ling is? From CNN. Oh, yeah, she has this incredible show called This Is Life, and she did a 1-hour special on him. CNN did a 1-hour special on him. He's been on Steve Harvey. He's been all over the TV and movies, and he's like one of the top relationship gurus on the planet. Done movies, worked with Tony Robbins as a master trainer. Like, that is the motherfucking guy. That's him. You should meet him. That's it. So that's my accomplishment intro if someone asks me about Vince. And I have something like that for each one of my friends, no matter what. And so you want to come up with some kind of a concise paragraph. I mean, I think your decision or your idea of having a promo video is 1,000 times better than what I'm saying. And that would be great. I just don't have it. But outside of that, you would just have to say something concise. But I don't know. I don't know what Vince has on this.
Well, Michel, first, you're very kind because you're always like, you know, telling me that you're telling people, and that's really awesome. Much appreciated. And it's good to hear you. I know you were hospitalized last week, so you sound good. You're doing good. Very happy. One video that's on my YouTube channel, it's from 3 years ago. It's Vince Kelvin shows you how to succeed with women despite adversities. So it shows my music days. It shows a lot of early days videos when I'm wearing a suit and so on. So that would be a good one. Now, so everybody benefits who's on the call. At the 7-day training, we finish on the 7th day and we do a pool party. And initially, the first year, we did the pool party and we do the pink party at the GSLR, you know. And the guys were excited and wanted to invite a lot of girls, but they would come from the wrong angle. They didn't have a frame that was solid enough. So I rewrote a little script for them. And first it will be intrigue with a demeanor. I go slow. Those are very potent techniques of linguistic and mental fox and so on. So intrigue. We would phrase it a little bit differently. So instead of going, hey, we got a pool party, we would say, you ever been to an HO2 party? You know, HO2 party. Girls be what? And right after that, you do a social demeanor. That's very potent with women. Not a mean one, but you go, what? You haven't? Like, hello, where have you lived? In a cave or something? So you can use that when you do invites, you know. You would say, I don't know if you've ever been to a red carpet party, but did you ever go to a pink party? And pink carpet? And the girl goes like, no. What? You haven't? You've not been in Hollywood very long, have you? And then people apply themselves. So there you go, like, yeah, I've been working with those two guys, Arash Deibsar, motherfucking Dibazar, and Vince Kelvin. You've heard of them. You know them, right? Person goes, no, I don't. What? You don't know of them. Are you for real? Are you serious? And then I soften. And I would also challenge a little bit. You know, to describe the same way that Arash did when people tell me like, hey, I've seen you working with this guy with all the tattoos. He looks like a fighter. I say, oh yes, Arash. You what? You don't know Arash? What? No. I mean, are you never on YouTube or you don't pay attention? And then after that, I explain clearly. And then I will say, but I got to watch you though. Okay? It's so potent. It's so intense. You got to be at a level, unless you just want to watch for entertainment, where you're ready to change. Because this man will transform your entire reality. So if you're just asking, then it's probably not for you. Okay? Because that's an important element, especially for you guys there. We use the example of Mitchell that's kind enough to want to spread the knowledge, and we always appreciate that. We don't need it, but we appreciate it. But I'm also concerned for you guys at the level of selling yourself, whatever you offer, and most of all in your pickup, that it's a split second at the beginning. You know, it's the same thing if you pitch something in Hollywood. It's a split second at the beginning where you have to make sure the other person registers the value. If you try to explain them the value with details, that only works if they have a existing reference and desire. If you tell a girl, yeah, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. So you sub-communicate it with strength from the beginning within the first 10 seconds. And that makes a huge, huge difference. So we don't ask girls, okay? Nor do we ask for clients. You don't ask girls. You entice, you test, you tease, you mesmerize, you fascinate. And there's enough people on the planet. You know, one thing that I love about Seductive Instinct, working with Arash, and what we've established is that it's a more select group of individual. Quality versus necessarily just getting everybody who's had a little interest, because readiness is key for true progress. You won't make all the progress you can make until you're really ready. I finish with this. It's fascinating, guys, okay? Guess who's the person who got the most proactive this weekend and asked the most questions during the boot camp? And already asked the question tonight. The person who traveled the furthest. So, keep that in mind. We're ready for the next question.
Hey, my name is Jay. I just wanted to ask you guys, you guys both have been in relationships, but Arash, you got relationships right now. Vince, you've even been married. I see you guys talk a lot about how they can be, destructive. What would you suggest in terms of juggling females for somebody in their 20s right now? How would you may have gone about it differently, or, what's your tips on that, or how do you feel you go about it right now?
I missed that part of it. We've been in relationships, and then what's the actual question? I missed the part.
Oh, so basically, how would you say if you can start all over in your 20s with the info that you know now? Would you still have these relationships? Would you go about it differently? Would you just keep friends?
I can answer that very quickly for myself. If you're going to have a girlfriend, I think that you have to have more than one. Okay, I can break down the reasons for this. which will be undeniable in a conversation, and I did that yesterday, I think, to somebody. There's a genetic reason why. If you're going to have a mate, a girlfriend or a wife, you're going to need more than one. And it has to be known, like me, I have 3 girlfriends. It has to be known that you have more than one, and they all have to know about each other. So it's either going to be more than one, or it's going to be none. Now, in my case, if I could do it all over, it would be none. Okay, now I know as I say that, it's just not real to people. You know what I mean? It's like, no way, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I understand, but I'm being asked the question. And my honest answer is, you all do a million times better in your life without a woman chatting you down. Whether you call that a girlfriend or you call that a wife. Okay? But should you decide to go that route, then having one girlfriend or one wife is one of the most destructive activities you could ever do to yourself as a man. And you don't have to believe me. You just have to look around and do a little research on what happens to men in the relationship. Okay? You immediately lose yourself. And as the years go by, it's worse and worse and worse. And the more you invest, and 10 years later, when she's gone, you're all fucked up. So what I would do is I would start with 0 and end with 0. Or I would do what I did to set up the multiple girlfriends. And what would change in regards to multiple girlfriends is the moment, the goddamn fucking moment, that I saw something that I did not like or agree with, some kind of negativity, some kind of non-compliance that would result in an upset in my life, I would immediately break up with her. Break up. I wouldn't say I'm going to break up. I would say we're done. Now, would I allow her back if she begged to go back? Yes, I probably would, with the contingency that every single time that you fuck up like this, I'm going to break up with you. This is not a relationship that allows for any kind of negativity, stupidity, retardedness, or any kind of fucking drama that you think is going to be part of our life. That was my dog. I don't know if you disturbed my dog. He's fucking hell. Good night. And so that's what I would do differently. I'll pass it on.
You know, it's a very good question. It's always intelligent to find out from those who've been through it what they would do differently. Allow me to mute for a second. So here's what I would do different. Number 1, I would never compromise out of kindness based on my own perception of kindness. Meaning, you know how sometimes you go a little bit out of your way to accommodate another individual? I would do none of that with women in relationships. I may do it more at the level of charity or really helping those who are in very distressful situations. But with women, I would not compromise anything. Follow my heart, and if they follow along, wonderful. If not, not. Number 2, I would have even more relationships, even more than what I've had. But I would know that ultimately I have one relationship. You have one relationship. It's with yourself. And I think that the key is this. If you're seeing a girl quite often, if you guys maybe even live together, it's not like there's 2 people. There's 3. There's you, and then there's you there with you. So almost like, let's say you've had a best buddy roommate for as long as you can remember. And then there's an extra room and a new person comes in. You would not suddenly neglect your best buddy just because that new person has different needs and start to go, today we're going to remove your room because that new person needs to stay. That wouldn't be cool if it was really your best buddy. So you got to be your best buddy to yourself. And it's like the example I gave you before, you know. One common mistake, you see that also in business, is when there's a sense of, oh, that girl being a greater, we only look at what could be great. I was great, and that makes us softer. That's the time when you got to be really enforce your points of view, because if they know you initially that way and they stay with you, then they got it. Okay? It's easier to get it right from the start than try to correct it afterwards. And the idea of being with just one woman, it's fascinating. We were talking about that the other day. I think it was with David Kosher. That was his birthday. He came to the boot camp. And here's how detrimental to a man's health and well-being being with just one woman can be. Okay? Only once in my life I've been with just one woman, and I cheated on her a couple times during that year. But in between, I was like, only her exclusively. I wanted to conduct that experiment. My fifth wife. I have a goatee, and every morning I shave in between. And during that year with her, I was noticing that my hair that I shave in between and even part of my goatee was getting really gray, really, really gray. At some point, I was like, fuck, it's turning completely gray. Okay? Within a couple of weeks of not being with her anymore, being back at doing pickup, I witnessed that it's regaining its natural color. Insane. So that's my answer for this one. And looking at the time, we have about 10 more minutes. So very rapidly, first, anyone here in Hollywood, this Wednesday, it's live only. There's no recording of it. So you got to come in person. Arash will be with us on the big TV screen, live from San Jose, and in person, myself and Shawn Michael, a.k.a. known as Discovery. Okay? So it's epic. You must RSVP as soon as you can. Then I hope to see many of you at the event conducted by Arash this weekend. He will tell you about it in a moment if he wishes to. I'm going there to hear, to witness. And on Sunday, we're in San Francisco. In terms of GSLR, we're in the next chunk. So I had a lot of guys contact me today. The Global Seduction, Lifestyle, and Relationship Convention. VIP, we moved the price from $450 to $700 yesterday. At the time you hear this recording, it's going to be more. So we just want you to know we have a brief glimpse of time before it goes to 1,000 at the end of this week. So that's all for any announcement. In the meantime, we have time for probably one or two last questions. Who's going next?
What's up, man? This is David Guns, Portland, Maine. My question, I had an original question, and now I want to tie, if it's okay, I want to tie a second question in terms to the last question that was asked. So my first question was about, in regards to my work schedule, one of the principles I've heard from Arash quite a bit is that if your woman is working for another man, that's like not your woman, that's that man's woman. So I've gotten to a point, my first step was to find a woman and introduce her from the start who I am and what my lifestyle is, and I've got that. Second step was to financially get into a position where I could hire my woman and she works for me, she gets her paycheck from me, and I've just gotten to that point as well. Where I am in that point is until I open my own business, my own office, I'm still a sales rep, and my woman is booking shows for me, but she's also riding in the car with me. I'm probably losing my license soon over some stupid beef that's happening, so she's going to be my driver, and that means we're going to be together all day. So my first question was, I was hoping for some ideas on that's a lot of fucking time together, and I understand that there needs to be a separation in between. So I was hoping you could address some ideas on a weekly schedule, working together all the time. We're living together now, so we're going to come home together. So there needs to be that breakaway time. So I wanted some ideas on that. And then to tie it in with the last question that was asked, Arash, I feel like I heard like somewhat recently, and maybe I'm mistaken, that you said if I could go back, like again, maybe I'm mistaken, but you said maybe I'd have one girlfriend with the understanding that I'm going to be with whoever I want. And with you saying now, since I've found you, it was like multiple girlfriends. That's what my mindset has been. But maybe a couple weeks ago, I was like, that would be a lot fucking easier, especially while I'm trying to get my money up and get enough rooms for everybody in my house as it is. The difference between having one woman who has the understanding that I'm going to be with whoever I want and then having multiple girlfriends. I understand the value in both of them, but if you could touch on having work time and living together and having that separation time, and then also the difference between having one woman who knows you're going to be with whoever you want and having multiple girlfriends?
First of all, you're really doing it. You're now doing it. You're taking the steps. So
it's like a lot of new challenges I've never had to deal with, but it's fucking, it's a new,
can't even imagine.
new life.
I'm telling you. You can't even imagine. I'll die, and they still won't know the level I was at. Until someone has 6 girlfriends, then they will know. But anyways, and I don't think that's going to happen. I said I would keep one girlfriend, and that is a sign of respect and love for my original girlfriend, Electra, because if I hadn't met Electra, let's say, I would have 0 girlfriends, right? But I have met her, and if I could go back, I would still keep her as a girlfriend and move forward the way I said. But that's particular to my relationship with her. And, doesn't mean she's not going to leave me in a year or 2. I mean, I'm not a fucking idiot. But that's what I'm saying. I'll have one. Now, if it wasn't her, because everybody else would understand. It wasn't like I met her and I was like, I'm a pickup artist. No, I met her, I became a pickup artist afterwards. And it wasn't like I met her and I was like, I'm going to be in multiple relationships. Then I went into multiple relationships. So there's a lot of respect that I hold for her in regards to her and I. And that's why I would have one girlfriend, because it would be her. Because she has been there from the first moment. It kind of reminds me of like, a billionaire rapper or something who's had some girl since high school and he's been a struggling rapper and then she's still with him, when he's a fucking multimillionaire. That's how I feel when it comes to women and her. She was there when I was broke, no money. She was there when, there was no other girls and all that shit, and she's still here. Cool, man. We've been through a lot of shit 11 years later. So outside of her, no, I would have no girlfriends. And I always say I cracked the genetic code, and the thing goes deeper and deeper and deeper. It originally started with me having a vision of being inside the DNA strand and having a conversation with whatever the fuck is inside the DNA strand, and I was not on drugs at the time, but I was meditating. So anyways, so more of that information is available to me, especially now because I'm out gaming a lot. And I just tell everybody, there's nothing in the code. There's nothing in the code. What I mean by the code, like if there was a God who wrote the code of nature, or if there is no God and the code of nature was written some spontaneous thing, that code I haven't found, and I would like someone to show me otherwise if they think I'm wrong, but I have not found in the code anywhere that a man should have a woman be with him in the form of a girlfriend or a wife. This is a made-up thing. It's not part of the code for living. Okay, now people will say, well, no, penguins, they mate for life, and they'll give me like 5 or 6 different animals that'll say these animals mate for life. That's fine. I'm not talking about those animals. I'm talking about humans. The thing they throw at us is this: well, do you want to be alone at your old age? No, I don't. And Hugh Hefner is not going to be alone in his old age, and neither is anybody else who's got that much success. We all know that you could be 85 years old, and you could have Anna Nicole Smith, somebody like that. You could be 91 years old, right? So your energy should be spent becoming that level of man in your life. Because when you become that level of man in your life, it's absurd to say, well, are you going to have someone take care of you? Absolutely, for sure. It's not. Are you going to be alone? Nope, absolutely not going to be alone. What about love? What about love? I'm 40 years old. Trust me, I've been through it, and I know what the fuck love is, or whatever you think it is. Not. So there's just zero reason. There's just zero reason, except insecurity, for a man to decide to keep a woman at his side at a level that we call girlfriend or wife. I can't find the reason. I just cannot find the reason. Okay, it's impossible. Because remember, when you first meet the person, you're not in love with them. So you can't be like, well, what if you love them? Well, no, you don't meet someone and be in love with them. You fall in love with them. You can't be like, I don't know her, but I'm in love with her. It's kind of weird to me. So that's a backward sequence. We don't fall in love then meet somebody, right? That's just weird. So it has nothing to do with love. And every kind of argument that people throw is going to die right in front of me. This event I'm doing is called Prometheus, the Fire of the Mind. Prometheus is exactly what I'm showing you. How to dismantle your enemy and your opposition's argument, where you can make these statements the way I do, and nobody could fight with you. And the only thing they can do is get emotional and say, well, that's just not how it is. Well, no, actually, that's exactly how it is. Now, a woman, on the other hand, if I was doing a call for women, they have to find a man. It's in their code. It's in the code of life for a Homo sapiens woman to find a man and be with him for the rest of her life. She's the one that should be told, do you want to be alone at an old age? Because she is going to be alone at 60 or 70 if she doesn't have a man, isn't she? Are any of you guys going to go fuck a 60, 70-year-old woman? Do any of you know a 70-year-old millionaire, multi-millionaire? Do any of you know any movers and shakers at 75 that are women? I fucking don't. She is going to be alone. She should be the one worried about who's going to take care of you. You see? So what's been happening is you as men have been infiltrated. Your brain has been infiltrated. Men have been infiltrated. The male energy has been destroyed. It can never be fully destroyed. It's just been perverted. And my task has been to decode it and bring it back, and me, myself, be the example of it. When you guys see me this weekend, and by the time you go to Global SLR, you will know one thing about me that will be very clear from the first moment you look at me. I will be more man than any man you've ever laid eyes on. I promise you. Unless it's some kind of movie character, but that's what's going to happen in your mind. You're going to compare me to some kind of mythical movie character, but those are fake. I am real. Okay? There's no cut in my life. I just keep going. Because the male energy continues to get stronger inside of me. And the more that it does, the more understanding I have of what I just said. So you are right now doing fantastic in regards to mating rituals and what men do. And you're going to find a lot of satisfaction, but you're also going to find a lot of pain at the end of it. I don't trust any woman. I expect every one of them to leave. I expect every one of them to betray me, 100%, including my mother. And that's the way things are going to be. Okay? And it sounds very pessimistic, and maybe it is, but like I said, please bring somebody who's had 6 girlfriends at the level that I've had. At that level. Then they can conversate and have a conversation about it. Otherwise, they would just have to sit back and tell me from their limited perspective of why I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm right. Okay? That's what I feel about it.
David, there's the aspect of spending a lot of time together. And one thing that I have found extremely helpful personally is to create a world that, I've heard girls tell me like being around me is like being in a bubble, to create a world that's separate from the outside world. So that's one element that you must remember. And then there's the element of if you guys spend a lot of time together, sometimes you can be a touch crippled by the presence of a woman when you get in work mode. Like I know that if a woman is next to me when I'm working for too long, it becomes too dysfunctional. So it's another area to address. I'm looking at the time, and we have a time constraint. We need to end within 2 minutes. So thank you so much for all the questions, gentlemen. We continue. This call has been on since 2004. Okay, 13 years now. And if you're new, first-time listener, email me, vince@seductioncoaching.com. We'll send you a series of free recording as part of a package. And heads up, too, I got the dates for New York. I'm going to be in New York and San Francisco for boot camp. So in the meantime, thank you, everyone. Thank you, brother. And we'll continue this next week.
You've been listening to The Real Kings of Pickup with Vince Hollywood Kelvin and Arash motherfucking Deibazar. Brought to you by www.globalslr.com. Call live every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to get your questions answered.
Just dial 701-801-1220.
Then enter 129-779-160.
Followed by the pound key.
To get your free Pickup Starters Kit, go to www.seductioncoaching.com now. And remember, stay sexy.